Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tai Chi For You. Normally, as a tradition, we do the first show of the month. We just like to give a shout out to anybody that's celebrating a birthday, celebrating an anniversary, celebrating whatever you want. This is November, so November's for you guys. Happy birthday, especially. I have some family members out there with November birthdays, so happy birthday. The other thing, too, that we kind of briefly talk about beginning of most shows, the live class that I have right now at Plummer's Place. That's the home of the Northbridge Senior Center right here in Northbridge, Massachusetts. For those of you that are watching all over the country, all over the world, we have people that tune into us. So that's at 11 o'clock on Mondays. Now, this last Monday, we know was Veterans Day, so the center was closed. But I hope you had the chance to thank a veteran, and we'd like to thank the veterans here on this show for their service. Also, I know a lot of the some of the viewers, some of the people that have liked and followed this page are veterans. So thank you for that. So, kind of on the idea of thinking about what I wanted to talk to you tonight. Again, the basics are the basics, and the masters master the basics. I like that saying, and I think the more you hear it, I don't want to say the deeper maybe it gets, but you make up your own mind. And again, that's what I like about Tai Chi. It's not a competition sport one-on-one. It's basically you trying to improve and listen to yourself. It's that inner, we call it inner chi or energy. So when we try to compare it, we say Eastern, Western cultures. So there is a lot of similarities between once you look at it as an open-minded skeptic, where we'll say get the chi flowing. And if that's a little bit hard to understand, maybe at the beginning, we can say it's just getting the blood flowing, getting moving. Movement is medication. And one of the other many benefits of Tai Chi, yes, it helps with arthritis, with rheumatism, helps with balance, digestion, however you want to apply the principles to it. There is that, and that's the big part of Tai Chi, I think, anyway, is that able to stay healthy, get on the healthy side versus the martial art application of it. So, with that said, let's get into a little bit tonight. And I know I always tell everybody have something to drink. I've been drinking a lot of water with lemon. That's, you mix things up a little bit. So that's what I am drinking right now. Put it to the side. And I did write a few things down this week. So feel free to write these down for yourself later if you'd like. But again, we talked about the goal of Tai Chi is that health. We want to get every bone, every muscle, every ligament, tendon, the fascia. We want to get it moving. We want to exercise that. And again, just that Tai Chi is done more slowly with that a mindset. It isn't a high rep sort of a cardiovascular workout. So it is a workout. And again, the goal is to work out every muscle in the body, every joint in the body. Now, the key to this is the movement, and it's done slow with intention. And I'm going to focus more on the idea of body, mind, and spirit being one. And it's not a religious comment. It's just, again, that idea of principle that Eastern, Western cultures sort of not clashing or trying to just um, show the similarities between them. So when we repeat the movement, you want to, again, the same movement when we do it is done repeatedly, usually like 3 times we do something. And the idea is to go a little bit deeper, a little more internally, and really start to feel what's happening and find out what did you learn when you're doing it. Think about it. Was my breathing off a little bit, or was I off balance? Was there something else? Was I able to clear my mind maybe on that third time of that same move? The other thing, again, you're constantly, adjusting, just readjusting, remembering to relax, maybe redirect some energy. Again, it's at your level when I talk about your energy. If you're not there yet, that's fine. But the idea is you'll start to feel it when you become consistent. So one of the first things we do is we do a basic head to toe warm up. And that's just where we're sort of just circling the head. And there's different options I can show you instead of circling. If that's something, maybe your chiropractor, if you're under chiropractic care, doesn't want you to do that move, see if just a sort of a side to side movement. And it's nothing that's strenuous. It shouldn't be, but it should be a slow, control the breath, control the movement. Or you could try the up and down. So there's 3 different ways of sort of warming up that neck, the head area. And with the shoulders, pretty much I think it's a safe way to do it. It's just that circling. We're not extending anything too high. We're not going up high trying to reach our ears with our shoulders. We're just rolling them, sort of warming up that area, loosening up, getting that blood flowing. We'll keep it simple like that. You could do opposite each arm. And just slow it down. See, I readjusted, I relaxed, listened to my body, and it said, slow down. Get some breath. Now, the breath is a long, slow, deep breath. You want to have that pump, the lungs exchanging. You want to get that stale air out with a full exhale. And then that full inhale, we want to expand the lungs. So it might look like you got a little Buddha belly, but your muscle here will... Then when you exhale, you could round the shoulders and sort of crunch in. If you're specifically trying to do breathing exercises, you might find you might overdo it a little bit. You could try sitting down so you don't get dizzy. Now we drop down and we go into the hips. And this is where I like doing that. Just, again, the beginners, do what you can. Just circle. For those of you a little more advanced, go a little bit deeper with that. Not to strain. Start to feel it. And it's not just the hips. I feel it, not a burn, but I feel the muscles working in the legs, keeping the back straight. So everything's getting movement, just like that. When we drop down to the knees, I like bringing the legs in just a little closer. And there's that circular motion. So when you slow it down, you can almost visualize everything firing. What has to be tighter or more sturdy, and the other one is a little bit less because it's lengthening, and then tightening, lengthening. And this helps improve the balance as well, not just building muscle strength or lower back strength. Again, the breathing is so important. The ankles, you can use the assistance of a stool or table or back of a chair, but you want to, if you can, get to the point where the foot is off the ground. So again, more muscles, more ligaments, more joints and tendons are engaged in this movement, both directions with the circle. If you're not there yet and you just want to just keep your foot on the floor for your balance, again, it's all about you. What's your level of doing it? And when we switch, the solid leg is, or the grounded leg, however word you want to use, is against the stationary object. So the other one is up and away. And you could add a little wrist movement in both directions. So when you go slow with that intention of the breathing, 3, 2, 1. Good. That is our basic head to toe warm up. When we talk about the medicine part of Tai Chi, we go a little bit deeper with some knowledge of the meridians and the chakras and the energy flow internally. Because when we want to stay healthy, we think healthy exterior with, the muscles or, posture, and an outside view like, wow, he looks healthy, she looks healthy. That's great. But internally, what's going on? There could be a list of health problems. Or there's the physical, but like I said, again, the mental aspect too, and that's challenging where you might just be a little more scatterbrained or whatever it is. You're not focused. You're not drawn in at the moment to be able to handle the situation. So we want to address that, and internally we do that with the energy flow through the meridians, and we want to open up that area. So you could start off just lightly tapping, and the procedure is up the outside of the arm and down the inside. And I also said, again, I can vary. A variation of this is a brushing. So even if you had one of those, what's the name of the brush? Like the fine hair brushes you use, you could use a brush to that people use them sometimes to get the dead skin. So you could get that going. And again, it brings the blood to the surface and gets it moving. The fascia, it warms that up, gets that lymphatic system moving. And then we do the same thing with the legs. It's down the outside and up the inside. And you could add it as a tapping, or you could brush and brush. And the goal is to get it where it's a harder, more vigorous. Again, the more you can build up something, the better you'll be. We work that back area. Again, there's if you have lower back issues, I like putting a little knuckle right in there and working that area. And the variation to this one is lightly drumming or tapping. And then when we're bringing around to the front, we want to, again, just lightly tap. You can alternate to a side, but you want to get that whole lower area. Again, get the blood to the surface, get everything starting to move, loosened up, warmed up that center line, and then out to the clavicles. This area right here, I like making a little sort of a beak and tap right into that. And you could, do some light, different variations to it. You could really, pound on again. You get built up where you can take a good punch right like that. Breath in, breath out. So see how it's working more than just that surface. It's working that interior. You're loosening up, maybe some fluid in the lungs, something like that. And then we gently work that back of the neck and up over the top of the head. And this area right here, again, lightly under the eyes, under the nose, on the chin. And then we want to complete it by coming down the side from the armpit area down to the waist. So I'm just showing you this. When we're in class, we go a little bit longer with the warm-up, but this is the step by step. So when you're practicing this and you have it sort of memorized, stay with it 3 or 4 times up and down. And then the fingertips right there, those nerve endings, a lot of things are happening. You want to keep those nimble. And then that side of the hand, we call them karate chops, but we're just hitting and bouncing off. So if, again, this is your warm-up. So a lot of people like this one, and they go a little bit longer, and then they like this with the wrist as well. It just feels good because a lot of times you're tensed up with the wheel, or you're on a keyboard, or you're doing something, and this area needs to be worked. So you could try some wrist rolls. I think it was a student that did piano showed the class this is a warm-up. So anything that you do for a warm-up, that head to toe bit, good. All right, so let's get back a little bit more. I want to focus on the that idea of the health. So one of the ways to remember that mind, body, spirit connection is to pick 3 points in the body with each movement. So it could be the fingertips, 1, the nose, and the toe. So you could just focus on all 3 of those externally and then bring it in. And then as that hand goes down, this hand comes up. And we're focusing on that fingertip, looking. You can't see your nose, but you're following your fingertips, visualizing the nose to the toes. It's that next level when I talk about internally. So let's pick that opening move that we've done 100,000 times. But and I use that as an example, and it's probably been 100,000 times I've done this, but it really feels good knowing that I drew something new out of every time that I've done it. So I want to get sort of in the right position with my balance, meaning 60% of the weight is on the ball of the foot versus the heel. My knees are slightly bent, and I have to always correct myself, keeping the back straight. Elbows are out to the side. Elongate that spine and start to lift up. And remembering that 60-40 principle where I'm not overextending The elbows are still bent. And then the hands come in and down. So it's more of an oval. I'm not exaggerating it. This is that breath in. Now start to focus, just mind focus, not necessarily follow your fingertips, but be aware the fingertips, the nose, and the toes. And that'll help you with your grounding, with your balance, and you're starting to move that energy around. And I just had to readjust. I had to relax. And just remember, what did I forget? What did I forget to do? Oh, I held my breath for too long. I didn't breathe deep enough. And with different backgrounds, the yoga people or the karate people, I'll catch them locking their elbows or coming up too high. And then they want to, again, turn it into more of an exercise or a stretch where they go back too far. Tai Chi is that little sweet spot in between all those, I don't want to say extreme, but the idea of the extension. So there's that little bit of, now you want to go with that idea of resistance when we talk about water and we're in the pool and we're just holding on to those little floaties. And now I have to push them down into that water. And now just before the elbows, I'm not locking them straight. I start to, again, those floaties want to fly up quick. I'm holding them at a constant speed to where I come out of the water, level with the water, bring them in, and there's that push down. And then control the floating up. And you could sink in a little bit with the knees too. If you're strong enough with the legs, you feel confident. And bring them up. Don't lock them. Don't lock the knees. And this one simple exercise can be done 3 times. It can be done 20 times. I've never done it 200 times, but there are exercises that just get repeated and repeated. And then we can go into the holding the ball, we call it. Now here's where one hand comes down, the same time the other hand is coming up. And notice there's that 60-40 principle. There's no locking the arms, there's no going too high. Then there's that switch where they just go in the opposite, and they switch down and up. And then we build on this with that shifting the weight. And when we do that, be aware of the weight on the ball of the foot versus the heel. Keep your balance, keep your ground. You want to be solid with everything. And sort of lead with that elbow. Take a breath in. Nice and deep. Breath out. So the idea is, well, the goal is we are learning the Yang style 24 form, which is the most popular one of the Tai Chi styles. But with learning everything, it's one step at a time and not getting overwhelmed. You want to get to the point where you're very comfortable with 2, 3 of the moves, and then just challenge yourself with the next move. Because another move I'll just show you, and we'll wrap up with that, is that the whip. So again, the idea of relaxing, dropping, having a firm grip, and there's that weight shift and this hand's the whip. And then watch as the weight starts to shift. I start to turn the body as that arm comes out till you get to the end of the move. So it's a lot of moving parts, but it's done slowly and smoothly. So what did we learn? We learned to keep the weight more on the ball of the foot, keep the shoulder relaxed, elbow down, and there's that shifting the weight, turning the body, and that hand comes out with that elbow still down, and there's my 60-40. I'm not overextending. Good. All right, so that about wrapped it up for tonight. Going forward, we're going to have Lynn back, one of my students that was on a few times actually, and we're going to be breaking down moves so you'll see it done by a different person, and you could follow along, and we'll break down the moves a little bit more because I'm getting good response back from people that they're enjoying it, and they want to do more. They want to be more involved with it. And yeah, it'd be great if we could have you live, but we're trying to do the next best thing where you're following along with us. So, thank you for the comments that you're enjoying the show. And until next time, this is Tai Chi for You.